Are there any particular technical indicators that you favor, or how much attention are you paying to like level two, time and sales tape, bids and offer prices, things like that?
Yeah. The only like true, I mean, obviously price volume, right? But the only other thing besides that would be VWAP. I like to know where the average price is paid during the day. It really helps me see if there's like what kind of uptrend or downtrend we're in based on if it's above or below VWAP. I'll never take any entries based off it. It's just a kind of a guideline for me. In terms of, how I guess look at it beyond that point. In terms of level two, I'm a big level two guy. I won't necessarily use it and for entries, but I just like to look, like when I read the tape or try to read how strong or weak a stock is, I will usually look at the level two. I won't actually look at the chart. Now, granted, I'll always switch back and forth. I'm not like completely closing off the chart and only looking at level two. But once I see how the chart kind of looks and I get that down, I'll then immediately look like, well, what does the tape look like? How strong is this? How big is the spread? Like, is this liquid? Can I even get out safely if I want to stop out? Things like that. So that's a big part of my trading nowadays.
Okay, great. Yeah. And in terms of keeping your losers small and your winners exponentially bigger, how do you manage that? And I think that's something that a lot of traders still struggle with, is making sure that, they're on the right trajectory in terms of their equity curve and not letting that one loser wipe out days, weeks, a month, or a year of gains. How do you manage that? What's your perspective on that?
It's incredibly crucial. I've seen it in other traders, and I've even learned it myself in many periods of my trading career, where it's like you can have big wins, you can have small wins, you can have break-even trades or small losses, but if you have big losses, your chances of profitability go down significantly. Like it's almost scary for me to think how against the odds it is for any trader if they allow big losses to come in. Specifically, my July and August, like my July was actually unprofitable, and my August is a smaller green than I want, mainly because I've just taken 2 or 3 bigger losses than I should have. Right? They're not detrimental at all in terms of my career. Right? I have other risk management things to put in place to stop that. But even allowing bigger losses has significantly stopped my summer from being very efficient. Right? And so that's huge. Whether it's a max stop, whether it's knowing and trusting your trade plan, having a broker stop out for you, whatever that needs to be done to prevent big losses, I think is almost essential. Everyone can kind of, I think, make kind of some kind of money in the markets, but it takes a special kind of strategy or discipline or consistency to then be able to keep it, right? Everyone knows what a breakout looks like, but then can you trade it, pre-profit, make money on that, and then be able to take a smaller loss when the next breakout doesn't work? I think that's huge. Yeah.
I think that's commendable to absolutely be transparent about what your past couple months have been like. I know it's something that people might think, right? You become a profitable trader, you do very well, and maybe you understand the market, and you never will have a red month and everything is just sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, and that's just not the case, right?
No.
Right.
I had a very good consistent streak since the middle of 2017 all the way till I think it was April 2022. I was actually green every month, and I kind of had that worldview of like everything's going easy. Now, granted, I took very big losses, not very low. I've had my fair share of ups and downs and drawdowns, but it seemed like every monthly period I was able to scrape out green, whether it was good trading or not. And finally, as the market started to adapt in 2022, and as people have seen continue in 2023, along with me just being more aggressive and having more bankroll to be more aggressive with, ultimately allowed me to see into myself and realize that I have some aggressive habits that I've built up over the years, which has caused me to see some of those bigger losses where I couldn't afford to do that when I was a smaller trader, so I didn't. And now because I have a little cushion, you kind of had this feeling, I have a little bit more money to be a little aggressive. It led me to actually be too aggressive, and now I deal with this new habit of having to really make sure, and even more conscious than I was in the beginning, about really keeping those losses small, because if they're not, they can give you red months, they can give you red quarters, even red years. We've seen some massive blowout moves that I've unfortunately heard stories of, like red careers. Like you think you're profitable, and like that, your account's gone. And so it's scary, but it's manageable if you have that good risk management in place. So.